welcome back. Let us discuss the Oilers. The Oilers currently at a record of 28, 18, and 4 overall. Played quite well this season, and honestly are a team to watch at the deadline, because they may very well be adding at the deadline. One thing with Edmonton, and their power ranking, the highest has been as 5th, the lowest 16th. The current is 8th. They win a lot of games in regulation. So one of the reasons why they've been higher on the power rankings, and I know there's been a lot of arguing from various fan bases about where they're at, but they win a lot in regulation. They weren't messing around. So if you look at their record, you can see a lot of regulation here. 7-3 through 10 games. They were 10-10 through 20 games. 17-13 through 30 games. So they won 17 out of 30. And then they went 4-4-2 over the next 10, which caused a bit of a drop for them. They were 21-17-2. But they've been 7-1-2 since then. They're playing well. And a lot of this has to do with some guy named McDavid. Connor McDavid is absolutely just phenomenal. He's having another ridiculously good season. If he didn't score another point this season, he'd likely still end up top 10 in scoring in the National Hockey League. And if he wouldn't, he'd be close. And so, yeah, that tells you just how remarkable a season he's having. I do see this team as a contender. I think that in a playoff series, they're going to be tough to beat because of McDavid, because of Draisaitl. And that's tough to shut down, as we saw last year in the playoffs. Now, the question with the Oilers is going to be the question we have with other Pacific teams as well. Goaltending. And the status of the goaltending. Now, Skinner's going to the All-Star game next Saturday, and kudos to him for that. And I saw some people saying, Skinner in the All-Star game, why? The numbers of Pacific goaltenders, when you look at the all-star acumen and all that, there's really not much to choose from in the Pacific Division when it comes to goaltenders having great seasons. But Skinner's been good, and so he's been that starting goaltender, which is good because the signing of Campbell, while his numbers have been better lately, still doesn't look like a great signing overall. But what bails out Ken Holland is he's got McDavid, he's got Draisaitl. This team's going to score a bunch of goals. And some of the other moves he's made have worked out pretty well, including Zach Hyman. Hyman's had an absolutely amazing season. So McDavid, 41 goals, 51 assists for 92 points. Just insane. Draisaitl, 29 goals, 47 assists for 76 points. Hyman, 26 goals, 34 assists for 60 points. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, he's having a career year as well. 22 goals, 38 assists for 60 points. And then you got Tyson Barrie, 7 goals, 24 assists for 34 points. So this is your core. These are your top scorers, and for the Oilers, it's a pretty rosy picture. You do get to the goaltending tandem of Skinner and Campbell. There might be some questions there, but this team will go as far as Connor McDavid can take them. There's always the comments about depth scoring. That's still going to be there. Yamamoto's currently on IR. His numbers haven't been where you'd want them to be. Holloway's been good, but the scoring hasn't been there. Puljujarvi, the scoring isn't there with Puljujarvi. Does Puljujarvi get moved at the deadline? How much longer does Puljujarvi continue to be a topic of conversation when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers? Probably for a while yet. So they're pending UFAs. It's an interesting little list here. There's Derek Ryan. I would think if he wants to come back, they re-sign him. Janmark's been good, and again, they could use some more scoring. And then you get into your LTIR. And the saddest story in hockey to me is Oscar Klefbom. Klefbom, good defenseman. Honestly, very good defenseman, but his career is in doubt at this stage. It is highly likely that his career is finished. His contract is done at the end of this year. And it is too bad. Because when the Edmonton Oilers were having problems with their blue line, part of it is because they had that investment in Klefbom and the player wasn't there. And he is a player that I'll remember as being a pretty good defenseman, and there'll be a career video when he officially is done. But yeah, from everything we've heard over the last year and a half, Klefbom probably doesn't play again. Neither does Mike Smith, goaltender for the Oilers right through the playoffs last year. But it came out pretty quickly after the playoffs that Mike Smith was probably done. That was probably it. That he wouldn't play at all, and that was probably it. Ryan Murray's currently on the LTIR as well. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. We'll see what happens with him. And then they've got Cuckoo's currently in the minors. I wanted a reason to put Cuckoo's name on the board. I don't really have any other reason to have it up there other than he is a pending UFA. And depth defensemen are required, and once he's in the minors there, then you can move him at the deadline, and a team doesn't have to worry about waiving him. But for the Oilers, I think they'll be looking to add. I think they're looking to add on the blue line. This is, of course, the rumor that's been out there all season. Oiler fans are probably rolling their eyes at the idea of this being brought up again, but there's a reason it gets brought up. This is a team that can score in bunches. They just have to be able to keep the puck out of their net, which the Oilers of the 80s had the same issue, and then all of a sudden they went on a dynasty run. I don't see a dynasty run for these Oilers, but there could be a playoff run there this season, and it would be a shame if McDavid didn't win a Stanley Cup in Edmonton. I know there's Calgary fans, probably some Vancouver fans saying, no, that wouldn't be too much of a shame, but to me it would be. I think that McDavid has been the best player in the National Hockey League over the last few years. He's putting up ridiculous point totals. It'd be nice to see him end up winning a Stanley Cup. And I mean, just for a Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup would silence a few critics, but not a lot of critics. I'm sure the next narrative would be, well, yeah, it's a Canadian team, but they did it so McDavid would get his cup ring. That's why they did it. So there's always a reason. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Oilers. What do you think they need, and which winger / defenseman would you add if you were the general manager? Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.